Okay. Oh, awesome, awesome. All right. So thank you so much, Shiro, once again. Karibu sana back home. We missed you a lot. We needed your energy. We are glad you're home. Yes, and thank you everybody who is on call. Thank you. Welcome once again to this training. This is our regular training, which we normally do for members. And I have basically been taking us through the basics of how to build a business. And tonight, I'm going to continue from where we left last. And just before maybe I introduce the topic of today, I can just do a brief recap of what we covered in our previous training session. And we basically, at the moment, are looking at some of the basic skills that all of us need to be able to successfully build this business. And we talked about two very key skills that we agreed that you really need to develop this skill and really look at it like a real skill that you require. Because if you fail to develop these two skills and put yourself at the professional level, you might find that you're running around a lot of the times, but you're not able to bring your clients on the table to have a look at what it is that you're doing. And those two basic skills we talked about, number one, was the skill of finding people to talk to. And just like you have heard Shiro's mention in her presentation, a lot of the times you find people who say there's nobody to talk to. And honestly speaking, you wonder, what do you mean there are no people to talk to? Now, the skill of finding people, as a way of recap, we said there are three things. You need to ask yourself, are you in the category of the posters? We said posters are just people who have a mentor list, and once they go through that mentor list and they get a lot of no's, you have just heard from a testimonial here that sometimes you're going to talk to people and they're going to say no. So what do you do? If you're a poster and you are pegging your hope on a few people, then you definitely will get disappointed. And then the next one we said is, ask yourself, could you be an amateur? And an amateur is basically somebody who comes up with a list, and then as time goes by, they exhaust their list, and now they start saying there are no people to talk to. So in case you fall into those two categories, there is hope. And the beautiful thing is the hope is you can become a professional. And we say professionals, or what we call pros, they have an active candidate list. You must be able to maintain an active candidate list. And we said one of the ways of doing that is being able to write down everybody who can come to your mind. And we're not saying that you present this business to everybody who comes to your mind. But remember, we say there's a principle that is said that you are only 6 people away from everybody else in the world. That is what is referred to as the sixth degree of separation. So if you can come up with a list of anybody who comes into your mind, start asking yourself, who do I know that is associated with this person? And before you know it, you constantly have people that you can be able to talk to. So you will never, ever lack people to talk to. So, but we also said, developing this list is just a way of finding prospects. Please appreciate, we're not saying at that point you go talking to people. You are just actively developing a list which you regularly update so that you're never, ever, ever short of people to talk to. Now, the second thing we talked about is we said, once now you've been able to develop your active list, you need to develop the skill of inviting people or inviting prospects. And we said, when it comes to inviting prospects, please realize inviting is not presenting. And I know a lot of us make that very big mistake. You start inviting somebody to come have a look at your business, and then you start going into details, and the details are not in any specific way. So before you know it, you have already lost a customer because you've already started telling them it's about crypto or just come with some 50K. People don't want to hear that. People, at the point of inviting, we said you need to remind yourself you are inviting somebody to come and have a look at your business idea or the product that you're selling. Number two, you want to educate them. So inviting has nothing to do with presenting. So please, the minute you will learn to do that, I'm telling you guys, you'll be able to register a lot of success. Then when we talked about now, how do you invite? You cannot have a standard way of inviting everybody because you're going to meet different categories of people. There are people that you know, you have a relationship with, they respect you, you respect them. The other people you will meet, or what you call a cold market. The other people who you know are professionals who are doing way much better than the way you're doing. So the way you invite each of them is going to be different, and you must be able to learn this skill and help yourself understand that you cannot treat everybody the same. So we say there is the direct approach to inviting, and that basically applies to where you know somebody, you have a professional relationship with them, and you know that there is a level of respect that is maintained between the two of you. So you go directly and tell them you have a business opportunity you came across, and you just want them to come and have a look. And there are different ways we say you can, I mean, there are different tools we say that we will be using for our customers, which is what you're going to go into next. Then, of course, there is the indirect way. This is where, for example, you want your prospect to have a look at your idea, but maybe because of the relationship or how you relate with each other or how you know each other, you sort of approach them in a manner that you're seeking their opinion. Let's say this is somebody you look up to, and maybe you're not even sure how to tell them how to come and listen to what you're doing. Maybe they are also already successful in whatever they are doing, and you really, really need to have them look at your idea. You could indirectly approach them and tell them there's a business opportunity you have come across, and you want them to come and listen to give you an opinion. Okay, at the end of the day, they will come and they will listen and they'll give an opinion. If they like the business idea, then now you'll have your moment to be able to close them in. Then, of course, we say there's the indirect way of approach, super indirect way of approaching people. And this is where we equated it to the head hunting that happens in the corporate world. This is where, let's say, you really, really, really desperately need a specific high flyer, an ego, who, for example, could be a leader in another industry, but you're looking at your opportunity and you're thinking there is something special about your opportunity, and you know that if this person came in, it would be marvelous for you and for them. Now, you can go and tell them, use them like to headhunt for you somebody, but the whole idea is this is actually the person you're targeting. So you will tell them you're looking for a specific person or for a specific resource or for a specific skill for a business opportunity. Now, if they are going to go and look for this skill, and because you show them that you believe that they know who has that skill. So in the process of them looking for that person, they will also want to hear what is it that this person is being asked to come and do. And in the process, you get them to also sit in and listen to what it is that has to be said. So that is just in a way of recap, but I want to remind you guys again, up to this point, please make sure you avoid presenting. Those are just basic skills that help you to put people either in a Zoom presentation like this, or on a one-on-one meeting or a group meeting or an event where they can come and have a look and let somebody else, maybe, for example, do the presentation on your behalf. So avoid the trap of inviting people at this point. Always remember, when you're inviting people, you must be in a hurry. That is not the time to start catching up about the weather, because then you dilute the whole idea of inviting them to have a look at the serious opportunity that you have. And we also say, before you finish your invitations, there are some basic things you must learn to close. Number one, get your confirmations right. And guys, this is one place where I know a lot of us are struggling. Get your confirmations right. One of the confirmations you must get is, when will the person attend either the Zoom meeting or the one-on-one or the event, whatever you're inviting them to come and have a look at. When exactly will they do that? You must be able to commit the person to commit themselves. So you need to know which date, when exactly. You cannot leave it open and say, yes, I'll join Zoom. Sometimes a customer tells you, yes, I'll join Zoom. And you don't ask, are you going to join tonight? Are you going to join tomorrow? Which day is free for you? Can it be a customized Zoom? You must close that. The second thing we say is time. Now, if you invite a customer to have a look and maybe they are going to join your Zoom, and maybe the Zoom meetings, we say the time we do our Zoom meeting doesn't work with that client, then how do you leave it open? You need, if you tell them the Zoom meeting, the started Zoom meeting is normally at 8 p.m. Kenyan time, and they tell you that is not okay with them, can you please quickly get the available time for them so that somebody can customize a Zoom for them? Because you're going to have a lot of clients in cross-border places. Like right now, I'm just seeing people from abroad being put in the group, of course, because of different time zones. That needs to be cleared. Also, you could also just have somebody locally, and maybe they're not able to join an 8 o'clock Zoom because they normally have maybe a class or something else they do. Ask them what time exactly are they available. If you don't commit them to time, you leave the appointment open, it will never happen. The other thing is, if they need to do an online meeting, of course, you know, for online meeting, it's just a matter of you giving the credentials and then timing. But if it's a one-on-one, you must agree on Zoom. For example, if it's a group one-on-one meeting or a group meeting or an event, where is the venue? If you're not clear on where people are meeting, you're leaving the appointment open. Again, it becomes wasted time. And many times you've seen customers just canceling you out anytime because you never committed them to anything. So guys, if we don't learn to do that, we can continue running around and we can continue wasting a lot of time, which is not good. Then the final thing we said is, once you have agreed with the customers on these things, let's say you have agreed with the customer, they will attend your Zoom meeting tomorrow. You must schedule the next call. So when do we touch base? After you have attended the presentation and you have had, when do I do the next follow-up? Again, that's something I know a lot of us struggle to do. So customer joins Zoom, and then you even forget that they were joining Zoom because maybe you didn't even dialize. And then what? You don't follow up. You have to learn to commit those things and get the confirmations right, because we said we want to go professional. We want people to know that what we are doing is very serious and it deserves to be treated with a lot of seriousness. So anyway, that was our way of recap, just to remind us what we covered last night. I mean, the previous session. Now, tonight, I want to take you through the third skill. And this skill now, this is where the rubber meets the road. And this is the skill of presenting. Now, you can be the best person in terms of generating leads. You can be the best person in terms of inviting people. But if you're not going to develop the skill of presenting this opportunity yourself, you're just imagining that your work is to invite people. You are inviting them to go where? Or who is supposed to be doing the presentation for you? Over time, people get busy. Everybody is out there looking out for their own personal interests. So if you're thinking that there is somebody who is supposed to be on standby to do Zooms for you, you're going to get frustrated. So all of us, if you have invited one person into this business, it is your responsibility to make sure you equip yourself with the skill of presenting, because you must show up for your business. And if Florence is not available to do Zoom, you must be able to do the Zoom yourself. So I want to take you through now how to develop this skill of presenting without you assuming that there's somebody else who is supposed to present on your behalf. Okay? Now remember, presenting is really now where you get the customer now to understand what is the opportunity. When you're starting to present, or when you're getting people to come now and get to hear what has to be said, like I have said, let this principle always guide you, that in network marketing, it doesn't matter what works. Please, I want you that to sink. It doesn't matter what works. It only matters what duplicates. And that is what I meant. If you're so good in generating leads, if you're so good in inviting people, but you cannot present, then it's irrelevant. So what matters at the end of the day, JKK may be here, he may be a perfect presenter, but if JKK cannot duplicate himself in Nyambura, in Flo, in Liz, in Queen, in Shiro, in somebody else, so that we all become presenters. How many places can JKK be in at one point? So what will happen when there is need for 100 meetings to happen in a day? Because that day is coming. When there's a meeting in Kericho, there's a meeting in Nairobi, there's a meeting in Mombasa, there's a meeting in Kisii. All these meetings are happening. If there are no people who can duplicate themselves in terms of being able to empower others to do the presentation, how will the business run? If you're relying on one person to be doing presentations for you, you will be killing your business. So duplicating ourselves in other people is so key. But we cannot duplicate ourselves into other people unless they are willing to also learn and acquire these skills. So always remember, it doesn't matter what works. It only matters what duplicates. Now, let's look at how then do you become a presenter. There are some basic things that professionals do when now it comes to the skill of presenting. And this is what I want you to take home. Today, this is the only skill we are going to look at. The first thing, professionals avoid the expert trap, okay? And the expert trap is where you imagine, because now people think you're the professional here, you think that you have all the wisdom when it comes to this opportunity. You must avoid that. And that is why you notice professionals use tools. We use Zoom presentations. Somebody has sat down, revised that Zoom over and over and over again until they are comfortable. It communicates the message. So when you're presenting, please learn to use the available tools. Don't go with your wisdom out there, because you're going to meet different people, and some of those people are going to be even more knowledgeable than you. So if you just go with your mind thinking that you know what it is that you're doing, and they will ask you questions which you cannot answer, then you lose your prospect. So please learn to use the tools available. And one of the basic tools available is this particular presentation that Shiro has just done. If you're on this call, or if you have built a team of one person and you don't know how to do that standard Zoom, just know you're not developing yourself. Please do that. Take it upon yourself. Number two, professionals use live events instead of their own presentations. And I have seen a lot of these guys. For example, today we were in town. We had a live event in town. We had people who are more equipped than ourselves, and all we needed to do is mobilize everybody, bring them to town, and let the pros take over on our behalf as we are learning. But you will be surprised, there could have been somebody in town who is maybe very new, still learning, but they chose to go on their own to meet a client on their own instead of using this event, which could have even created this momentum and the energy around this, because there were real people with real testimonies in town today who will motivate your clients and help them see the value of this business. So if you adopt the attitude of you want to run with your own business, and you know that you have not even gotten to the level of where you can classify yourself as a professional, you could be shooting yourself in the foot, but most importantly, you could be shooting the business on the foot, because especially for new people, when you onboard a new person, before they can really learn this business and become comfortable presenting, don't get excited when you hear that they've gone to see a client, because you don't know what they're going to tell the client. And if they give the wrong information, that messes up the whole business for all of us. So as much as possible, use live events to help your customers get to know what it is that you're talking about. You all know, we nowadays, our schedules are very clear where we are every single day. So you know where the live events are happening. You know that there's an office in Claretial where somebody is always on standby. And you also know that there's a standard Zoom. So instead of letting your people run around helter-skelter and you're not sure what they're talking about, put them in live events so that they can learn and gain understanding from the professionals. The other thing that you need to do is to use other distributors to give facts instead of giving them themselves. Now, basically, this is just trying to tell you that sometimes, especially because most of the people you're going to be inviting into this business are people who know you, somehow you have a relationship, sometimes it helps to use other people speak on your behalf. Now, and I like what Megwe likes to say many times. Sometimes you're trying to get somebody to come into this business and you're trying to show them how they're going to acquire financial freedom, but you borrowed them money last week, which you have not paid. Now, how do you expect that person to look at you? So when you know that you have a golden moment in your hand and you know very well you owe this person, why don't you call another person who now comes in as the expert or the professional and helps you close this business? That way, in as much as there is something going on with your prospect, this person's attention will shift from you and it will shift to the professional who will help them understand what is the opportunity at hand, and this other relationship on the side will not necessarily interfere with the decision that they make, because we are not doing this business right now because we have actually achieved financial freedom. We are actually doing this business because we want to achieve financial freedom. So whether I have achieved financial freedom or not, that should not hinder my prospects, okay? But when I am running around on my own, trying to talk to everybody, and I don't want other people to come into the picture, people might not take me very seriously, especially when they know where I'm coming from and how my finances look like. So let us use other distributors. That is why the group effort is so critical and so important. In the process of you using other people who are experts and professionals, you also learn and get equipped, and you know exactly what to say so that tomorrow you can become a better presenter. Now, the other thing is professionals, they don't present themselves as experts. And I know this is something we may want to seriously consider. Nobody is an expert. And especially in this space we are in, it's very difficult to really say you are an expert. Okay, to a great extent, yes. People want to know you are an expert, and we will edify you and we'll tell them you are the expert. But at the back of your mind, never feed yourself with that mentality that you're an expert. Because number one, we are in an environment that is changing so fast. Even before you understand what was happening with Bitcoin, something else has changed. Now, if you tell yourself you are an expert, that can hinder your growth, because you'll be walking around thinking you are an expert, you know everything, but you don't know what has happened today with regards to this space. So in as much as possible, I would recommend that you present yourself as a consultant. Okay, somebody who has some basic information. You're not really an expert, but you could be having some advantage in terms of you've gotten to know something that majority of the people don't know. Never allow yourself to feel like an expert, because even me, I can tell you every day I must update myself with what is going on before I can even start to talk to people. I need to understand. So if you know that you don't have all the facts and you don't know everything, then don't post like an expert. You will meet a person. I was sharing today with JKK how the other day with Jemima, we met a young man who's been doing a few of these things, and we were presenting this opportunity. And I realized, in terms of managing my wallet, my personal wallet, there is so much information that I didn't know that this young man was shocking me. He was showing me things about my wallet that I don't know, security features that I don't know. So you can imagine if I had presented myself as an expert, and then the young man realizes he's even better than me, what would have happened to our conversation? He would have just thought I am fake. But because I didn't present myself, I just presented myself as a consultant who is sharing an idea that I think is beneficial, then both of us can learn from each other. And that is the approach you should always have. Always keep that in mind. Now, the other thing you need to do is, please remember, professionals, whether they have facts or not, they bring passion, enthusiasm, excitement, and belief. And a lot of the times, we may have the passion, we may have the enthusiasm, and we may have the excitement. But if you fail to demonstrate belief in your product, everything else becomes irrelevant. Number one, you must be passionate. I mean, it doesn't matter what the rest of the world is saying. It doesn't matter what the common person in the street is saying. In fact, it doesn't matter what the masses are saying. Be passionate about your idea. If you believe in this idea, let your passion speak for you. I mean, people should feel it, they should see it, it should just flow. Don't be bored. I mean, people buy you. People are not buying cryptocurrencies. They can buy them anywhere. It is you they'll be buying. Bring excitement, bring energy, but most importantly, bring belief. Now, you cannot convince anybody that you have a product that is good and that is going to change their lives if you don't believe it in yourself. And I love what Queen said. She has been searching, she's been looking, she's done so many things. Now she has found something that is answering all the questions. You know, when she gives her testimony, for real, you can tell she has seen something. There's a faith she has developed around this product. Now, a lot of times, especially if somebody has not made money, this belief fails to show up. Guys, like I have said, we are not sharing this idea with people because we have attained financial freedom. If we had all the freedom in the world, why would we be telling people? Well, look at the very richest people like here in Kenya. You know a few of them. Do you go see them talking to people about how they do their business? No, they don't. As we are in the journey of achieving financial freedom. And on that journey, we cannot achieve this freedom by ourselves. We need other people so that we can do it together. Now, if the fact that you have not earned money doesn't mean this business does not work. It just means at this moment in time, you have not made money. Or some people have made money, but when they look at my account and they look at their account, they shrink. Why would you shrink? This opportunity has potential to give you not the kind of money I have, but the kind of money you need. In fact, what I have earned is nothing. You should not even be looking at it. Never even look at my account. Forget about it, because personally, I'm not even comfortable with that account where I am. It's not where I'm supposed to be. But I believe, last night, if you were in the presentation, you saw Flo shared this amazing story about this guy who did the Ethereum program, this same program on Ethereum, and he owns account 8679. And people know, Akida, they can tell you, I analyzed that account like it belongs to me, because I saw $12 million worth of Ethereums in an account in Forsage. I couldn't believe it. That is like 1.3 billion Kenya shilling. Only for me last night to learn that this guy had another account that made over $2 million. Then he opened the second account. So if you're looking at my account and you're thinking that is money, me, I'm looking at an account that has $12 million and I'm thinking, how do I earn $12 million? Now, the point is this business has potential to pay me $12 million irrespective of where I am today. So stop looking at other people's accounts. Don't let your belief be determined by the money in your back office. That is irrelevant. The belief should be built by the opportunity. If you believe in the opportunity, you know other people have earned $12 million with the same opportunity. If your account has $200, it has potential to go to $12 million if that's what you want. So stop shrinking, guys. Go out there with energy and enthusiasm and power and know that this opportunity is crazy. If you don't create belief in your people, they will never buy it, because they're wondering, even maybe where they work, they earn more than what you have, right? What is in your back office. But if you believe and you can deliver that belief, believe you me, you'll be surprised. So that is what professionals do. They don't look at the money in the back office. They look at the opportunity on the table. Now, the other one is you have to learn how to present the opportunity to groups of people. I know a lot of this time we've been doing a lot of one-on-ones on our own, but a day is coming. Like right now, for example, let me tell you, last week we went to Kenyatta Market, and I hope they said somebody from Kenyatta Market on this call. And this is Queen's team all of a sudden regrouping itself. You know, you have one person you signed up. The next thing they're telling you, now I have 5 people. The next thing they will tell you, I have 10 people. You must equip yourself with the skill to stand in front of a group of people and present to them, because this is exactly the opportunity you have. Now, you cannot make $12 million by doing one-on-one for the rest of your life. You will need to get to a point where you can stand. If it doesn't matter how scared you are, stand on that stage. So long as you believe what you're talking about, stand on that stage scared and deliver to the group of people, because you'll be surprised. A lot of us have so much knowledge compared to the people out there. Some people who are more learned than we are. I'm telling you, we have so much knowledge that when you start to speak, they might intimidate you, because they'll come with suits, you know, $100,000 suits. But let me tell you, what you know by attending this Zoom, by coming through these trainings, you are so knowledgeable that they will actually listen to what you're saying. So equip yourself, because that day is coming when there will be 100 meetings happening in this country. And in each of those meetings, we shall be requiring you and the other person to be the one doing the presentations. And sooner than you think, we are going to now start presenting to professionals. People in formal employment, they are starting to realize something is shifting, and a lot of them are starting to come to us. So equip yourself and empower yourself. Remember, the person with the marker makes the money. And I want to use JKK here, for example. You know, the marker is that click thing. Somebody, when you're presenting, you know, you keep seeing them clicking, and the next slide comes, clicking, and the next slide comes. Look at JKK. He never gets tired of doing presentations Monday to Monday. Even if all of us fail to show up, he always shows up, and he brings the energy. And this guy, you call him and tell him to go to Marsabit, he goes to Marsabit. You tell him to go to Kitengela, he goes there. Are you surprised that he has the money he has? You have the potential to become a JKK. Duplicate yourself. Learn what he does. Borrow him. Tell him to mentor you. Let him give you that marker. Hold it in your hand, and you will see if the money will not come. I mean, numbers don't lie. Guys, I wish you could take a screenshot of these basic points, because once you teach yourself how to do these basic points, you will not be needing to hang around Nyambura to do your meetings. I've been warning people and telling them, sooner than you think, you'll be looking for me to do your meeting and I will not be available. Why? Because my business is also really waking up, and I am excited. I also need to run with my business. So how do I make sure I've duplicated myself in Queen? I need Queen to take up these things and equip herself and learn to do this and run on her own, because her business is expanding. Sooner than she thinks, she'll be having this client calling her and telling her, I want you to come. Another one is calling her, I want you to come. She needs to know how to do this so that her business does not stop. The momentum is maintained. Once, Queen, you hold the marker, I'm just using you for example. If you hold the marker in your hands, I'm telling you, the money will be there. So this is how professionals go. This is the route they take. Now, having said that, what next? So how do you learn this skill? How really do you learn this skill and become so comfortable like Flo that wherever you are, you can just stand and just do a presentation, whether it's one person or 10 people, or it's a Zoom with international people. How do you learn this skill and you become this confident? The first thing you need to do, and these guys, I need you to really write down and start doing and start practicing. First and foremost, learn how to give a short and effective testimonial. Learn how to give a short and effective testimonial. People are not interested in how much you know. Like I said, a lot of people out there may even know more than we do, but they are interested in your story. What is your story? If you cannot even at this point be able to give a story, and that's why we Sometimes you see people just bombarding you from nowhere. They call you and they tell you to share a testimonial on a live Zoom. This is one way of mentoring people, duplicating yourself in people. You need to be able to tell your story in a manner that somebody will post and say, oh, wait a minute. Is that Elizabeth Kives? You mean I know her, but your story is starting to tell them something. So let's look at how your story needs to look like, okay? Because there are basics that you need to capture in your story for it to be able to tell. A very good story has 4 elements, okay? And the first element is you must give your background. And I know sometimes when we call you to give a testimony, you will even hear us say, Elizabeth comes from the hospitality industry, because maybe she didn't give that bit of the story. Please start, and I want you to write this down. And after this call, please start writing down your story and make sure it has these 4 very basic elements. There is nothing new with your story. It needs to capture your background. Who are you? Where are you coming from? What have you done in the past? Because you just didn't appear. We all have a story. That's your background. Number 2, what are the things that you did not like about your background? Why are you in Forsage? If you're Elizabeth, for example, and I'm just using her as an example, you're coming from the hospitality industry. Honestly, you had JKK last night say, I don't know whether it was JKK or Flo, say, the hotel where Liz was a chef, even if he could not afford to go and have a meal there. Now, that is a very captivating part of Liz's story. You are in this hospitality industry, you worked in high-end hotels. Just in case you people don't know, by the way, Elizabeth has worked in Saudi Arabia. She has cooked for the king. She has been in the king's palace. But why did you leave that and now you are in Forsage? Please make sure you write that story and make sure your story is good enough to tell. So once you have written that story, what are some of the things that you didn't like about your background? And so how is this network marketing now coming to rescue the situation? Why did you leave? If you're Flo, why did you leave your medical background and now you're doing network marketing, and specifically for SAD? What are some of the things you didn't like that this is now addressing? These are the things that people want to hear, because I can tell you a lot of our people who are in employment, they are looking for a way out. They can't wait to get out. They need to hear, wait a minute, you have a degree in clinical nursing from the US and you left that and now you're doing this because, what is it addressing? What has it rescued? Then now give them your results, or you don't even have to give them your results. Give them the outlook of the future. What is so different in terms of the future outlook about what you're doing that your previous story was not giving you? I mean, if you've been a nurse, I mean, nurses, we all know what hell they've gone through with the COVID scenario and all that stuff. But I don't know, what is the outlook of that industry compared to the outlook of this industry you're in? If you have some results to share, by all means, it doesn't matter if you have earned $5, income that you had no idea previously how to generate, and now you can generate it. If you want to share that, please, by all means, go ahead and share. But most importantly, paint a picture of the future. Why would this person now pay attention? What is the future outlook? What does the future look like? Now, guys, please write down your story and make sure that story captures these 4 very basic things. As you can see, there's nothing I'm adding. It's your story. It has all these parts, and you need to be able to tell it. Let that story be good enough to listen to. Okay? Now, that is how to develop a short and effective testimonial, a whole exercise which we must make sure we do. I will not be marking it, but please, it's for your own good. Once you have learned to do that, the next thing you must do, please learn to model successful people. And I cannot overemphasize. I mean, I don't know why my default always goes to JKK, because even JKK, I'm sure he's looking up and thinking, oh my God, I need to get out of this comfort zone. I mean, I know that. I spent time with him, so I know. And I don't know who JKK looks up to, but me, I'm looking up to Medway, I'm looking up to JKK, and I'm like, God, I need to get to where they are. So I need to model them. what has made them more successful than I am right now? Why are they having better results than the results I have? So one of the things I want to urge you, especially most of you, because right now, you know, very few of us can be called to even sit and do a Zoom presentation. Learn to model this successful story. And some of the success always leaves clues. One of the things you need to do is master the opportunity presentation. We have a standard presentation. We do this presentation every single day. And I know a lot of people keep saying, it's that Zoom that you people do every day. There is a reason why we do that Zoom every day. Number one, we get new prospects every day, so they need to hear this presentation. Number two, this is one of the most effective way of you learning how to present. The next time when you are joining this Zoom, can you please come with a paper and a pen? Listen to the jokes the presenter will use. Copy those jokes. If you don't have your own jokes, copy them. How do they do the introduction? Copy them word for word. You are allowed to do that. So you master this presentation opportunity and you keep doing it every day. Copy it, record yourself. One of the other most effective way for you to develop yourself is before you can come on the screen and do the presentation the way Shiro has done, listen to what Shiro, if Shiro is your role model in this presentation, listen to the example she uses. For example, when Shiro is doing the X3, X4, blah, 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 you know what she does? She goes to that mall where she used to work. There are some people who want to hear, what is it called? Oh my God, that mall that had a security incident, I'm forgetting what it is called. If Shiro is your role model, then when you get to that point, use that mall as your example. Describe your product using that mall. Use word for word from what Shiro says. I'm sure she will be very proud of herself if she hears you using her exact words. And why are you doing this? Because you want to develop your skill, yourself, to be comfortable and confident. So if that is what the presenter who makes the biggest impact for you does, go ahead and do it. Now, once you have learned to do that, please, I want you to record yourself 1,000,000 times if you need to. Every time, put your phone there or your laptop there. Now do the presentation on your own. Record yourself. After that, play that thing back over and over and over and over and listen to your voice. Listen to yourself. And there are some things you need to be looking out for in your voice. And number one is confidence. You know, your voice, I mean, you know, confidence is something you pick out immediately. Somebody opens their mouth. You can tell when somebody is intimidated and afraid and they are frightful and they don't want to talk. And you can know when Nyambura shows up. I mean, I just let it go. What is the worst that can happen? People must listen to me. So you pick out confidence. If initially you feel like, oh my God, my voice is so weak, I'm not coming out like a confident person, keep doing it, keep doing it. If you need to do a mock Zoom, call me, call Shiro, call Flo, tell us, guys, join a Zoom, mock Zoom, let me present, and then you give me feedback. Guys, this is one of the best ways to learn, so that by the time now we are putting the camera on you, you are sure of what you're talking about. Number two, please bring passion and energy. And let's also listen to the flow of the conversation. Initially, when you start practicing presenting, you might realize, oh my God, I can't remember what I was supposed to say next. So when you record this and play it on yourself, you start realizing, where do I get lost? What am I supposed to say there? You go back and listen to your person and see how do they move from what the experts are saying to the next slide. How do they make sure they flow? You got to do this, guys. You got to do this. You do this for yourself. You repeat it with your family members or the closest people to you until it sinks in. Memorize the presentation. I can tell you today, I can do that presentation with my laptop closed. I know what slide comes after what do I want to say from here to there. How has that happened? I'm always doing Zoom. Okay. Every time when it's my turn to do Zoom, I do customized Zooms. I do presentations every day. I doubt there's a day that goes without me doing a presentation. So I have memorized this thing. I know how it flows. So when, in case I met an impromptu client and I didn't even have my laptop, or let's assume my laptop didn't have power, I can run through that presentation in my head, and I know I will pick out all the relevant details and I'll give them to the client, and they will feel that I have communicated to them. So this is something you must do. Sit behind your screen, do it over and over until you get it. Okay, the mole I had forgotten is called Westgate. Now I've remembered. So once you learn how to copy or model these professionals, then just voluntarily become a regular presenter. When you have a client of your own, call me and tell me, Nyambura, let's meet in Buruburu. I know Liz might be thinking I'm talking about it, it doesn't matter. Let's meet in Buruburu. But when I come, be the one to present. I'm coming to give you moral support. It is not Nyambura who's supposed to always present for you, or JKK, or Flo, or Shiro, or Migwe. Rebecca, are you on this call? The next time you go with Migwe to see your client, be the one to let Migwe sit there and cheer you on and give you moral support. Be the one to do the presentation, because tomorrow, when you call Migwe and he's not available, are you not going to go and see your client? Guys, learn to do the presentation. You do one-on-ones, you do 2, 3, 4 times. You feel like, oh my God, now I got it. You start adjusting your shoulders. Now you can do a 3-way call. Initially, if it's a 3-way call, just call an expert or a pro and let them do for you. Learn, how do they do it? How do they answer questions? Next time, tell them, please come, take me for this meeting, but sit here. Let me be the one to do it. Then before you know it, when you hear there's a group event, now there's town meeting, there's a meeting in Thika, you show up and then you say, when the guests are seated, tell whoever is facilitating the meeting, let me be the one to do the presentation. We shall be there cheering you on, giving you moral support. Before you know it, now you're on Zoom, cameras are live, and you become a pro. Because that is the only way we can duplicate each other. Once you learn how to do that, as you're onboarding your new clients, also take them through the same journey. Start duplicating yourself in them, so that tomorrow we don't have to all go to Thika. Some people can go to Thika, others can go to Nakuru, others can go where customers are. And we know that every meeting will be taken care of and the business presentation will be delivered, because that is where the rubber meets the road. If we cannot be able to deliver this presentation, it doesn't matter how many people you invite. It doesn't. Remember, it doesn't matter what works. What gets duplicated is what matters. So that is how you develop the skill of presentation. 3 key stages to becoming a presenter. Please remember this. 3 key stages. Number 1, learn your story. It is yours. We've talked about it. Learn it, and keep enriching it, because your story cannot be constant. It changes. I mean, life happens. Keep upgrading your story. Number 2, learn the standard opportunity presentation by copying, modeling the professionals or modeling the successful people that you're looking up to. Number 3, learn different training presentations. We've talked about one-on-one meetings, 3-way calls, group events, Zoom presentations. Equip yourself and start. Now, next week, having said this, I expect to see new presenters for Zoom from Monday. I want volunteers to say, I will do it shaking with my teeth chattering. I will do it. Guys, come out. It's the only way you can learn. It's the only way, and we will be there cheering you on. None of us started as professionals here. None of us. In fact, sometimes I hear JKK saying how when they signed up with whoever signed them up, how Madogodhanyo the presentation was, and but it delivered. Anyway, the word Madogodhanyo, just in case you're watching me from the diaspora, it just means something that has no particular order. Anyway. So key points to remember as I summarize the skill tonight. Number 1, when you're prospecting, please remember, when you're prospecting, you're the messenger. You are just inviting people. You are not the message. Don't start delivering the message at the point of presenting. You are the messenger. Get yourself out of the way and use a third party or a tool or a resource to help the customer understand what it is that you're talking about. Number two, learn to tell your story in a way that it will make your prospect curious to hear more. This story, let me tell you, it better be good. Let us develop a good story, guys, that everybody who hears our story, they want to hear more. So you did, and then what happened next, and where are you going? Make your story good enough. Number three, when presenting in front of a group of people, preparation is key. You must be prepared. Do some bit of research, guys, okay? This industry is evolving so much that, like right now, you may be presenting and then somebody asks you, so tell us the story of El Salvador and what is your opinion? Do you even know what is the story of El Salvador? On Tuesday last week, they legalized Bitcoin. They made Bitcoin a legal tender. If you don't know that story, you're shooting yourself in the foot. You need to understand what is going on in the industry. If somebody asks you, what is your opinion? Have something that you can say that they'll look at you and say, oh, I like your point of view. They don't have to agree with it, but you need to have a point of view about that story. Today I shared I came across some very interesting analysis about how the success of El Salvador might just become a ballooning issue, and Kenya is on the ladder. Very exciting piece of information. So preparation is key. When you're prepared, it's fun. I mean, I prepared for this presentation 2 weeks ago, so I can just flow with it and enjoy my energy and enjoy having you guys on board. So remember, in closing, the only real limitation is the one you set up in your own mind, or the one you permit others to set up for you. The only real limitation is the one you set up in your own mind, or you permit others to set up for you. Period. There's no other limitation. It is you have either set it up in your mind, you've told yourself you can't do this, or you know you're not good. It is you who is setting it up in your mind, or you are allowing other people to set it up for you by allowing them to give you feedback that doesn't build you. You are believing what they are saying instead of believing what you know can be. So I want to close this presentation there. This is a very key skill that anybody who is serious about this business must develop. That's the only way to make sure your business continues to grow without you over relying on other people for the rest of your life, because they're also going to get busy and we want everybody to get busy. So with that, maybe I'll ask if there's a question or this is a Q&A session. If somebody has a question, kindly feel free to ask, or you can just send me a fire emoji if you like what I said. If you like anything. Oh, your slide is not on. Wait a minute. Don't tell me, guys, I was not sharing. Okay.
Everything is so good. Everything is clear.
Oh, good. Thank you, JKK. Oh my God, I thought I was not sharing. That would have been horrible. Anyway, thank you so much. So any question, any comments? Maybe JKK, I can request you to close the meeting. Thank you so much, Shiro, for giving me the mic. I'm handing it over to JKK. Thank you and God bless you. JKK?
Wow. Anyway, yes, I'm here. You can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, so by the way, this has been so explosive. I have really learned a lot. Thank you so much for putting up this training together. I need now to go back to all of them. As in, this is number 4 you are sharing right now. For some reason, I think I was not there in your training at the previous training to this. Wow, this is so classic. Guys, you have a gold mine of a training here. If you take even a quarter of what has been shared here, you will experience such explosive success in your business. This you can apply anywhere, anytime, on anything that you put your heart and mind to do. And for such, of course, the sky is not even the limit. It's just the beginning. So thank you so much, Nyambura, for such an in-depth training. I think you will make Warren War. What is that? Warren Warren, the writer of GoPro. I'm sure
Eric Ware.
Eric Warren. You will turn green with envy for you about this training. This is just amazing. So thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone, for being on the call. Let's make sure that we spread this information, spread this news. Let's build our business. The sky is the limit. This is decentralizing knowledge. So thank you very much. God bless everyone. Have a great evening.
Thank you, guys. God bless you.